Our hymn of the week on April the 10th, 2021 is Thine Be the Glory. Most of our hymns so far have begun life as poems, which were then set to music. With Thine Be the Glory, it was the music that came first, with the words of the Christian hymn being added to it. And very illustrious music it was too, being a song called See How the Conquering Hero Comes, taken from an oratorio by George Frederick Handel. An oratorio is a story, usually a story taken from the Bible, told through music and songs with a choir and orchestra. It's like an opera, but with no acting or costumes. And this particular oratorio is called Judas Maccabeus. Judas Maccabeus was a Jewish priest, leader, warrior, who defended his nation, including the temple in Jerusalem, against attack by the Greeks on the temple, on the land, and on the Jewish faith. And he lived about 160 years before the birth of Jesus. The oratorio was actually commissioned in honour of the Duke of Cumberland after he and his army had defeated Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobites at the Battle of Culloden in 1746. Since then, the Conquering Hero song and music has been used in a number of ways. It was played, for example, at the funeral procession to St Paul's in London of Admiral Lord Nelson. It was traditionally played by brass bands when new railway stations or railway lines were opened, celebrating, I suppose, the conquering hero of the age of steam. It's often sung by Jewish people at the festival of Hanukkah. The festival itself commemorates that victory of Judas Maccabeus. More recently, it's become part of the Sea Song at the London Prom concert. And of course, we know it best as it relates to Jesus, the ultimate conquering hero, defeating sin and evil and death by his death and resurrection. The tune, as we said, was written by George Frederick Handel. Handel was born in Halle in Germany, the son of a barber surgeon. His father wanted him to become a lawyer and wasn't very happy at all that Handel had an interest in music. In fact, Handel had to go and hide away when he was trying to practice or play the piano, or the clavichord as it was then. So Handel dutifully began studying law, but his gift of music couldn't be stopped, and eventually he became organist in the Reformed Cathedral in Halle. And he was also a violinist, a keyboard player, and a composer. Handel spent some years in Italy before moving to England, settling in London in 1712 and becoming a naturalised British citizen 15 years later. He wrote many famous musical works, including The Messiah, Water Music, and Music for Royal Fireworks. A number of his tunes have become hymn tunes, including Antioch, which we know better as the tune to Joy to the World. Handel's life wasn't always plain sailing. In the later part of his life, which is actually when he wrote most of his music, he had a stroke, he was involved in a coach crash, he had unsuccessful eye surgery which damaged his sight and eventually made him blind. And just before he wrote probably his most famous piece, The Messiah, Handel was declared bankrupt. On hearing Conquering Hero, a friend of Handel apparently said that he, Handel, had written better things than that. to which Handel replied, "You will live to see it a greater favourite with the people than my other fine things." It was Edmund Louis Baudry, a Swiss Protestant minister, who took the story of Jesus' resurrection and matched it to the Conquering Hero tune, which was originally written in French with the first line, "À toi la gloire." Baudry was born in Vevey, and he became pastor of the Free Church there for 35 years. He also wrote and translated many hymns. It was Richard B. Hoyle who then translated it from French into English. Hoyle was an English Baptist minister who later taught theology in the States before returning to the UK. He had some hearing problems, but still had a knowledge of about 12 languages. In 1923, the World Student Christian Federation obtained permission from Baudry to translate his hymn from French into English, and the commission for that was given to Richard Hoyle. See how the conquering hero comes. À toi la gloire, thine be the glory.